You know how English has all these weird, unwritten rules? Things we just know are right, but if someone asked us why, we'd probably just shrug? Well, in this explainer, we're going to crack open one of the biggest mysteries, the secret order of adjectives. So let me ask you something. Which of these sounds right to you? A beautiful new French box or a new French beautiful box? Yeah, for pretty much any English speaker, that first one feels perfect. And the second one, it just sounds off, right? But why? That's exactly what we're about to find out. All right, before we get into the secret code, let's do a super quick refresh. An adjective's whole job is to add meaning to a noun. Simple as that. It's the tool you use to paint a clearer picture, and when you use it right, what you're saying becomes way more powerful. Okay, so how on earth do we know which adjective comes first? It might feel like you're just guessing, but you're not. There's a hidden system, a secret code that your brain is following without you even realizing it. And now we're going to make that code visible. That's right. There's an actual formula. It's the sequence that speakers instinctively follow, and it generally moves from your personal, subjective opinion to the hard, objective facts. And the best part? There's a simple acronym to help you remember it all. And here it is. Nossa scamp. I know, it looks a little strange, but each letter stands for a type of adjective, and this is the exact order they go in. Number, opinion, size, age, shape, color, origin, material, and finally, purpose. This is the secret playbook for English adjectives. Let's put this code to the test. Take the phrase, a lovely old square wooden table. Lovely, that's our opinion. Old, that's the age. Square is the shape, and wooden is the material. See? OASM. It follows the formula perfectly. Now try to mix it up like a wooden, lovely, square old table. It just sounds like a jumbled mess, doesn't it? Okay, so we've cracked the order. But wait, there's more. The rules don't actually stop there, because sometimes it's not just about the sequence, it's about where an adjective is even allowed to be in a sentence in the first place. This is fascinating. Some adjectives are pretty picky. They can only go right before a noun. You can say the chief factor, but you could never say the factor is chief. It just doesn't work. Then you have others, especially ones describing feelings, that have to come after a verb. You wouldn't say the ashamed man, you'd say the man felt ashamed. Position is everything. Now for another layer here. Think about a word like hot. You can be a little hot, pretty hot, or extremely hot, right? It's on a scale. But what about the word boiling? Can you be a little bit boiling? Nope. Some adjectives are absolutes. They're all or nothing. And this slide shows perfectly how we deal with them. For gradable words like hot, we use intensifiers like very or extremely. But for those absolute all or nothing words, we use different adverbs for emphasis, like absolutely boiling or completely impossible. You just can't be very exhausted. It's like saying the same thing twice. All right, time for the final round. We've talked about order and position. Now let's get into comparison. This is how we level up our adjectives to show how things stack up against each other. And believe me, it's loaded with interesting little traps. So this should look pretty familiar to all of us. You've got your three basic degrees. The positive, like sweet, the comparative, sweeter, when you're comparing two things, and the superlative, sweetest, for when you're comparing more than two. Seems simple enough, right? Well, this is where it starts to get fun. Here's a classic one that trips people up. Elder versus older. The rule is actually super simple once you see it. Elder and eldest are pretty much just for people, usually in your own family, and you can never use the word than after them. You say, my elder brother. But older and oldest are way more flexible. They work for people and things, and you can use than with them. And here's another sneaky pair. Later and latest are all about time. The latest news is the most recent news. But latter and last, that's all about position in a list or a sequence. If you're talking about two things, you might prefer the latter one. It's a tiny difference, but it completely changes the meaning. So after all this, why does any of it even matter? Well, it's not about being a grammar nerd or correcting people. Understanding these unwritten rules, from the order to the position to how we compare things, it just gives your language so much more precision. It lets you say what you mean, clearly and powerfully. I mean, think about a phrase like, right or wrong, my country. It's totally fixed. Nobody, and I mean nobody, would ever say, wrong or right, my country. This just goes to show how deeply these adjective patterns are baked into the language itself, so much so that they become these set phrases we never even think to question. So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this question. Language is always changing, it's alive. These rules exist right now, but that doesn't mean they'll exist forever. So, what's a grammar rule that you think is ready to be broken? It's a pretty cool thing to think about because today's absolute rule could just be tomorrow's forgotten little quirk. Thanks for tuning in.